рождается человеческое дитя, его жизнь разделяется на два пути. Путь внутренней правды.
This was absolutely beautiful. It was very reminiscent of one of my favorite films, The Tree of Life. Just this stunning encapsulation of the nostalgia of childhood, that sacred purity of the moments where you feel so present and alive and unencumbered by society. The moments that you never forget and seem really pivotal, that flash by on the slideshow of your life and your mind. Just really glorious parallels between the images and the poetry, words that seem eternal and are really going to stick with me. I thought this was a very beautifully crafted piece with a lot of care and ephemerality to it as well.
This was really, really interesting. I had never really thought about, kind of like two different paths in life that you could, be pushed towards in this kind of way before. I had never really framed it in this light, and it's so interesting to see it and like really then think about that and think about the two different paths and like the kind of things that they stand for. And I liked that they highlighted them in different ways. They didn't just call them this path and that path, but then they reframed it and gave it more depth and more dimension. And that there were a little bit of drawbacks to both, but I had never thought of it that way. So I thought that this was so fascinating and like really beautiful and like really thought-provoking for me. And I really enjoyed how they pieced it all together with highlighting obviously kids, but then different aspects that they were describing and how they paired that visually.
This film is super deep. And it really got me thinking when it was over. I had to rewind a little bit to watch the ending again because I was so fascinated by it all. And it is very, very thought-provoking. It is very well directed, beautifully shot. Some of this footage is amazing. And gosh, I really was brought into the world on this one. I really found it very, very profound. So everyone who was involved in the film, congratulations. It's really quite wonderful. It's magical. Congratulations.
I thought this was really a remarkable piece. It takes a certain unique kind of filmmaker to conceptualize and execute on a piece like this, and I thought they did just a really fantastic job at just putting out there what they wanted, and we just get to sit back and enjoy it. It was really quite an interesting one.
It is a remarkable film. It's less than 4 minutes long, but there's so much packed into this very short piece. My favorite part was the music. It was very somber, but it just set the tone perfectly for this film. It was just beautiful. And even though the narration was in another language, I really connected with it. That can be a difficult thing to achieve for an audience who's just reading subtitles, but they managed to do it. Overall, it was just such a great piece, and I really enjoyed it.
This one's really powerful. It's very, it's a vibe. It's very ethereal. I love that it was actually shot on film and scanned. I think that it makes everything feel, very alive and textured. Like you really, there's a lot of great moments captured. It's very like evocative, and it transports you to those places, like running in the fields, the lights, and like all the water. I love that is like a motif throughout. It's fascinating, and I thought that it's just an enjoyable piece of film to watch. And so I think the filmmakers did a great job, and I think that all of the actors that were in it also, commend them for their commitment to the role and everything. So
very job. Beautiful piece. I love the way that this was shot. I love the kind of the retro 8mm vibe there. It kind of gives us a sense of feeling of history of the past, and but coming into the future. You know, the use of the nudes throughout was very, you know, it kind of gave you this idea of a universality of experience. You know, the image of the couple embracing and falling into the pool, the couple in the tree, the two women falling backwards from each other in the ocean. You know, we get ideas what each of those brush strokes mean throughout. You know, this sequence that they're talking about here. And it was really nice poetry and spoken word, and yeah, imagery was great. The soundtrack was beautiful, loved it. Yeah, so just really interesting and thought provoking and just beautiful all around. You know, it was almost like watching a painting in motion. So great job with this. I hope it gets out for you because I hope it gets out there and gets seen because it was a really beautiful and wonderful piece.